Hey everybody, welcome to Bearded Baker Banter, the sports podcast, where we're talking about what are we talking about today, boys?
I think we're talking about sports.
Sports.
Yeah.
Sports. Well, it's been the end of the NFL season. Football is now, I believe, close to 200 days away. At least that's the NFL. So we got some time here to discuss college basketball. We are still going to touch on some football stuff just because it really does drive a lot of the sports news cycle. So let's get into it. Let's start with some NFL news. Obviously, some free agency stuff, some coaches moves. Some big dates are coming up here in terms of free agency and everything like that. So Trey, do you want to get us going here with some NFL stuff?
Yeah. So one of the first major, I guess, dates as we're moving forward with the NFL offseason is the date as to or for the franchise tag. When that can be placed on an individual. And really, there's a pretty hefty list this year of guys that can be tagged. And then also a couple guys that just they won't be tagged because they'll just cost too much. And I think even there's some reports, kind of like free agency, guys, like when things already happen with free agency before free agency really begins, right? Like there's so many leaks and inside people that can report that out there on X and stuff. So I just you guys want me to rattle off a couple of these names?
Sure do.
Yeah, give us some.
All right. So linebacker, Josh Allen, Saquon Barkley, defensive end, Brian.
That is, you're talking about the actual linebacker, right?
Yeah, I wanted to clarify because Josh Allen is a quarterback. I don't want you to think it's linebacker,
right,
Josh Allen.
Go ahead.
Saquon Barkley, Brian Burns, T. Higgins, Josh Jacobs, Jalen Johnson, Justin Matabikwe, not too sure. Baker Mayfield, Michael Pittman, Christian Wilkins. I think that's a spicy name in my opinion. Some teams really like him. And then Antoine Winfield. And then some other guys right now that are eligible, these two is Chris Jones and Mike Evans are eligible to be franchise tagged. However, reports are their franchise tag would be it wouldn't be friendly to the team's cap, if that makes sense. So they're not going to tag them. They would rather, if they're doing anything, they're going to sign them to an actual deal.
So my real quick question is, because I remember when Chris Jones sat out game one this year.
Yeah.
What ended up? Did he take a 1-year deal?
That's my guess, or he just kind of said, "Hey, that," or he just because I think he was just going to start to get fined.
Okay, so he just played on the option.
I think he just played on his last year.
I think they restructured
and bet on himself.
I think they restructured his last year to give him like more money, but it was much more like incentive based, is what if I remember right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure it was just a 1-year thing, or else he wouldn't be able to be franchise tagged.
Yeah. So I found that
interesting.
Can I go out and say, like, I think what is going to be the most interesting move out there?
Yeah, I have a feeling I might think the same thing.
It's wide receiver. Okay. So with the news with the Jaguars, right? Jaguars, if they re-sign, who is the guy that got caught gambling? I forget his name.
Calvin Ridley.
Yeah. So if they sign Calvin Ridley to a deal, they owe their second-round draft pick to the Falcons, right? So it is looking less and less likely that the Jags are going to do that. And I think if they can get him, but I just think I think he's going to get franchise tag. But you could potentially see a Trevor Lawrence, T. Higgins reunion down there in Jacksonville, because Higgins is a number one. It's just he's not the number one in Cincinnati, but it really sounds like they're going to pay. They're going to pay. Oh man, I'm just struggling with names. Number one. Yeah, they're going to pay Chase, but they're not going to pay Higgins. They're going to pay Higgins, but they're going to franchise tag him, I should say. Okay. So it's just that to me is a very interesting storyline to watch out for in the upcoming days is potential reunion of Clemson teammates. I believe Clemson national championship teammates, if I'm wrong.
Yeah, that'll definitely be interesting. I mean, the Mike Evans thing interests me too. I know you had mentioned Baker Mayfield. I mean, the rumor has it. I think Trey, you had mentioned it too. Like you heard that he's going to get at least a decent deal, a couple
Like
years,
$40 million a year. It sounds like
$40 million. So, whether or not Mike Evans wants to stick around, I mean, I think the fact that they actually made the playoffs this year, a little bit of incentive. I mean, you had a down year post Brady, and then all of a sudden now you got Baker Mayfield who actually led you to the playoffs. So I mean, it's like I don't know. I mean that team surprised the crap out of me this year.
Yeah, but Tyler, I'm gonna ask you. This was the first year without Brady, and he's keeping his streak alive of consecutive years 1,000 yards.
Why did I feel like Brady was out for 2 years?
No, this is the first year that Brady's not there.
Okay, all right, I got you.
So
not missing a beat.
Yeah, a lot of reports say that Mike Evans is waiting to see what happens with Baker. I don't know if that means he's waiting to see if they sign him or not. But
see, Trent, I heard a different report where it sounds like Mike Evans is gone, and the team that's all in on acquiring him is the Kansas City Chiefs.
Mike Evans?
Yep, that's the report I just read today.
Oh gosh,
which would be crazy.
Along with the punter that they just picked up, like, come on, man.
Areza, the punt god.
The rich getting richer, like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Ain't gonna happen.
And let's not forget, they got a developing young star, and I think Rashid Rice too.
Yeah, and a decent running back in Pacheco.
Yep,
I don't think Kelsey's going anywhere. Like,
I know we're beating a dead horse, but this was the year the Chiefs were not supposed to do anything. They were very young, like not the best like contracts, cap stuff going on. They had inexperienced receivers. They weren't like they stole a Super Bowl, and now they're only going to get better from here on out. And that sucks to say because it feels like they're going to be good for the next like 15 straight years.
Yeah,
I just don't know how to be able to do that.
Not if Antonio Pierce has anything to do with it. You got to cut the head off the snake.
Michael Jordan.
Dude, I love that, man, dude. That jab fired me up, man. I'm not even a Raiders fan, but I was like, oh, hell yeah.
The Mahomes rules, what they're calling it, right?
Yeah.
You know what?
Real quick. Go ahead.
I'm just that like whole thing has been debated now. Is a lot of people are criticizing Pierce, saying, "Why did you do that?" One, it sounds like a little bit of, I think it was Greg Williams bounty gate, right? But also they're saying that now referees are just going to be super on top of protecting Mahomes against the Raiders.
I mean, how could they do even more? How could they be?
I was going to say
that is a good point. Good point, Trey.
If anything, it'll just get obvious. They'll be like, people will.
Well,
stop.
and I was going to say maybe he's like putting it in their faces and being like, "Hey, guess what? This is pretty obvious because we said we are going to do this. And now look what you're doing."
Yeah.
So I think it could work the opposite. And honestly, Trent, you know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of old school Raiders. Yeah. Saying things like that where, we're just going to get in your face and just mess you up like that. I mean, and honestly, they have the guy to do it. Max Crosby is the guy to do it.
Oh yeah, they
is the heart and soul of that team.
Well, they respect each other, but they hate each other. They have a little rivalry.
Even before Pierce announced this Mahomes rule he was implementing, Max Crosby owned Patrick Mahomes, I think.
Yes.
Like in the head-to-head.
He's all.
Oh yeah.
Yep. He's all in his head, dude.
Guys, I can't.
Trent, I'm not talking about team outcomes, but when it comes to who gets the Patrick Mahomes the most, who impacts Patrick Mahomes' play the most, Max Crosby's up there. 100%.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. He has the ability to get under the skin of the opposing team's quarterback. Right. I mean, how about like Gardner Minshew? He keeps calling me like a little child or something like that. Actually, I think it was little A-word kid or something like that. And he goes,
little ass kid.
Yeah, he's like, he's such a mean guy.
Yeah. But why is he so angry all the time?
That's what he said. Yeah, it's funny. It's
I love it.
He is the Yeah, he's the building block back. He is the guy that we need to make sure does not walk away from our franchise until he retires.
Right.
Can I tell you who you got to bring back? Is you got to bring Khalil Mack back.
Oh,
He's going to be too much money.
and
I
too
don't
old.
want to. At this case,
point,
I don't want to.
point in his career.
Nope. Because Tyler, what
But-
you have to look at is as soon as Pierce took over, look at the development. I know we're talking too much Raiders. People are gonna be like, "Who are you talking about?" Look at Malcolm Kuntz and what he did during that stretch with Antonio Pierce. He is actually a very good edge rusher who's going to have a big year next year. Mark my words.
Can I tell you what the Raiders need to do? It's a pretty simple answer, because if they had any ounces of success doing this, they'd actually be a competitive franchise for the last couple of years. Is they need to draft well.
Yeah, thanks.
I was gonna say you knew it was gonna be an asshole comment coming
No,
from.
it's not. No.
fan.
That's not me being an asshole. That's
the
just
truth.
me. That's me saying that's like their biggest problem as a franchise is in rebuilding and adding pieces is they are the worst drafters.
You have a good GM though, Trent.
Now you do.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. I like the GM you guys picked up.
I think we screwed up. I mean,
Tom
Gruden,
Telesco, right?
The Chargers old one.
Yeah,
Tom
Gruden
Telesco.
was on his way of building what he wanted, but he just did some things from time to time. Like, I mean, I'm thinking probably his last really awful draft pick. Actually, two of them: Cleveland Farrell, and then Leatherwood.
Oh my God! Alex Leatherwood.
What the hell?
He was
So it's
terrible.
like that guy could
He
coach.
might go down as one of the worst picks ever, actually.
Yeah, he could coach, he could talk the game, but when it came to him drafting, it was always a disaster. And it did. I mean, I think we had probably our best couple years of drafting was when we took Khalil Mack, right? And then we also drafted Amari Cooper, but I think we drafted Khalil Mack and Derek Carr in the same draft that year. That was probably the best because Carr did buy us some years of being our franchise guy. Just never got us to the big stage. Hey, speaking of the quarterback position, can I get us away from the Raiders here? Can I ask you guys, what are your thoughts on the Steelers situation? How everything just kind of changed out of nowhere, where it was, hey, the odds are Justin Fields. The odds are Justin Fields. And now, hell, I think even we put it out there. It looks like it's Russell Wilson. Like, who would you rather at this point?
Yeah, I think we
Trey,
tweeted out that Ocho Cinco.
I want your answer first because you were very anti-Fields last year, who won Big Papa beer bet with you. But I would like to. I'd like to hear this. Would you rather, if you're a Pittsburgh Steeler fan, would you rather Justin Fields or Russell Wilson?
Oh man, are we considering like money, or like what, like contracts and stuff, or like I don't
both. I mean, yeah, I guess Wilson's contract's going to be crappy.
I'll tell you what I would
take money out of it. Take money out of it. Just talk play. Think play.
If I'm going play and upside of like who has the more chance of being really, really good with the Steelers, it is Justin Fields. And honestly, what I think is going to determine whether or not he's good with the Steelers is the offense they run. Arthur Smith, the new offensive coordinator there, he's a big play action under center guy. Justin Fields has never played under center in the NFL yet, or even in college. So are they going to make him try to adapt to that, or what? Whereas Russell Wilson would be the fit there if that's the case. Do you know what I'm saying? Like Russell Wilson has a good history of play action. Arthur Smith can use that right away and not have to teach a young quarterback how to do it. Or I understand it's not too hard to take a snap and pick it up, but Russell's been doing his whole career. Justin Fields has never done it. But in terms of ceiling, Justin Fields can be a really, really good quarterback with all that young talent there too. But you know what? If we're considering money, if we're considering who's going to eventually not need a big contract and everything, you know who I sign? Ryan Tannehill.
Tyler said it last week. He said Tannehill would be the quarterback.
Yep. Because I think he's a guy that benefits from like a change of scenery every couple of years. And he really is a pretty talented quarterback, all things considered. It's just
I don't think he is.
So you would
I think
you would
super
take
mediocre.
Tannehill over Russell Wilson?
I'm saying if we're talking about money and everything like that, yeah, okay. I would take Tannehill over Russell Wilson. My debate would be Justin Fields over Tannehill or not. That's
Wow.
look.
Justin
Russell Wilson's
Fields
looked bad the
over-
last 3 years, Trent,
He actually had a pretty good year this past year.
but not.
He
What's the
did.
show? What did his team do?
Nothing. I mean, they're in a crappy. That's a crappy organization right now.
All right, well,
Thankfully.
Hey, and I will say this is you brought up the Justin Fields thing is there's a lot of rumors swirling around the Falcons with him.
Yeah, he's following all the Falcons players. But you see him on the St. Brown Brothers podcast. He's like,
Yeah, I saw it.
just because you don't follow, someone doesn't mean you're not, interested or whatnot. I kind of gotta clean that up. But
no, I don't know. I mean, like I said, the rumor was Russell Wilson. I think the odds on a couple of the draft of I think it was DraftKings had like minus 250 for Russ to go to the Steelers. I mean, that's what it went from minus 120 to like minus 250, I think, like 2 days ago. And I haven't seen it since.
and scheme wise, that does make the most sense. I think.
I just
Russell Wilson.
it's expensive. I think if you really want to win, like I said, I think I mentioned this a long time ago, but like the Tomlin locker room kind of seemed a little bit in shambles the way that some of those receivers played, to finish out the year. Giving up on plays, not hustling, not blocking. It's not my fault, it's their fault. Like, and I don't know, maybe Russ is a guy to get the guys excited to play football again.
Yeah.
I don't.
I don't know. And that's the thing. It's like he's almost become like a cartoon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he's almost become like just an ongoing meme or a GIF picture.
GIF with the G.
It's like that's GIF with a just sound.
I think we just found our question for the podcast.
There you go.
Okay, the guy that invented it has said
he always says that. That's wrong.
Everyone, I think someone just made that up and people just ran with it.
No,
I would actually
literally heard him say it on the thing. No,
guys, sports podcast, not computer science podcast. Okay,
yeah, whatever.
All right.
But yeah, I don't know. I know we put a tweet out this week about the rumors are and the sources say. I mean, Ocho Cinco's the one was one of the sources saying that he had some inside information, coming out that Russ is going to the Steelers. So I mean, we're not claiming that he is. We put it out there because there's some sources saying that it's going to happen or could happen. We'll kind of play it by ear and see what happens. So I don't know. And real quick though, the Ocho Cinco thing. Didn't he coaching?
Yeah,
he got a job somewhere.
Raiders.
It is? Okay, I thought it was the Raiders.
Yep, he's coming aboard.
So next thing you know, T.O. is going to be helping you guys coach too.
Well, I mean, when you look at who he did hire, I mean, he did have like not Arian Foster, but Deshaun Foster, if you guys remember him.
Yep.
And then he got hired as UCLA's head coach. So he is hiring a lot of former players out there in Vegas. So
Deshaun
that's what it is. So anything else NFL wise, guys? Like, I mean, I want to save draft stuff. Like, I want us to have a draft episode, right?
Yeah, we'll definitely do a draft episode.
Yeah,
when it gets closer to it. Because I also think, I mean, we'll also continue to touch on free agency and everything else as well. So,
right,
but
cool.
yeah, I don't know. There hasn't been the one name I did want to mention though is Saquon.
He's walking.
I know he's walking. He's not going to be a Giant, and I know
he's going to be a Charger.
Early rumors were Chargers. Thanks for that, stealing that thunder, Trey.
Oh, sorry.
But I will say this is that I'm also seeing that the Chargers may go after that Blake Corum guy.
Oh man,
I mean that's safe to assume with who's coaching out there now.
Right, but I'm saying, and that guy. I mean, the guy was a hell of a leader for that team.
Yeah, he
And a
was.
heck of a runner. Like he could come in, man, and just hit the ground running.
He kind of reminds me of an Austin
Pun
Eckler a
intended.
little bit.
I'll be honest with you. I mean, the way he runs sometimes, he kind of reminds me of a McCaffrey.
No. Oh my gosh, no. No.
I'm saying he runs hard.
No,
Reminds
McCaffrey's
me of
different.
he reminds me of Muscle Hamster.
Doug Martin.
Yeah, like that. He's not.
Or
Blake Corum is.
Maurice Jones-Drew.
Yeah, but I mean, if he could ever have a career like Maurice Jones-Drew, that'd be great. But I think he is a character guy. Don't get me wrong, Ty. I do agree with that. He would be good to have on Harbaugh's roster year one, but he's not. I don't think he's going to be a number one. And maybe I'm way wrong. Maybe I'm CJ Strouding it right now. So
you don't think he's going to be a number one running back?
No,
I don't think so.
If J.K. Dobbins is going to be a number one running back in the NFL, Blake Corum can definitely be a number one running back in the NFL.
Agreed.
It kind of okay. Here's a good modern day comparison. I mean, Dobbins is good, but what about like Clyde Edwards-Helaire? Like, don't you kind of see him in that boat where you thought he was going to be that good, and then he's just like, eh.
He was that good. They just brought in Pacheco.
Yeah, but that's because Clyde Edwards was falling off. I know he got injured, but it's never really panned out. I don't know. We'll see.
Chiefs really haven't had running backs since they had Jamal Charles and Priest Holmes.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
And it's always like next man up. And it's kind of like Dallas has been since Emmitt Smith. Dallas is always just kind of running through.
They had
Zeke was good for 2 years there, like really good.
2 years, right?
Maybe.
2 years, like I just said. They haven't had a guy like Emmitt Smith that just ran.
DeMarco Murray?
No.
He had a hell of a year. Well, hey, what about, we're talking about some college. You guys want to talk about the college news this week?
Yeah, let's do it.
Football, that is. College football news. So 12-team playoff, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So 5.
Thank God.
Yeah. So it's like officially in place for this year, which if there's anybody that is literally criticizing it, you can just like shut your mouth because it is about time, right? I think we're all probably, I know Tyler definitely is, I don't know about you, but I'm even in favor for more expansion of it. Get rid of these bowl games, go big, go real big bracket. But
I think you can make each playoff game a bowl game.
Yeah. And they're kind of already doing that. But here's the outline real quick for everybody. Under the 12-team playoff format that begins this fall, the 4 highest ranked conference champions will be seeded 1 through 4, and each of those teams will receive a first-round bye, while teams seeded 5 through 12 will play each other in the first round on the home field of the higher-ranked team, which I think is awesome because you could see some of these SEC teams have to maybe go play a cold weather game, and you might see a little equal playing field there on some of that because everyone loves the SEC. Rightfully so. They've been pretty good. But the team ranked number 5 will host 12, 6 will meet team 11, 7 will play 10, team 8 will play 9. The quarterfinals and semifinals will be played in the New Year's 6 bowl games. The national championship will continue to be at a neutral site. No conference will qualify automatically, and there will be no limit on the number of participants from a conference. So
here's I have a couple questions because the 5-7 thing.
Yeah.
The 5-7 thing confuses the hell out of me. Okay, number one, because the 4 highest ranked conference champions, right?
Yeah.
So you're taking it's now Power 4. Are we all in agreement with that then? Is that what they're saying?
I think so. I don't
so
are they bringing
you have Big 12, you have ACC, you have SEC, and you have Big 10, right? So whoever the winner of those conference championships are, those are your top 4 teams.
Yeah, but I think they're still going to count ACC.
That's what he
said ACC.
Oh, you did say ACC?
I said ACC, Big 12, SEC, and Big 10.
Then
So it's not 5-7 then.
So, well, hold on a
I
second.
don't
So,
get that.
I have it up here on CBS. It says after that, the fifth highest ranked conference champion is not guaranteed anything other than a spot in the field.
Oh, okay.
Okay. It says if the fifth highest ranked conference champion is ranked behind the 7 at-large selection, it will be the number 12 seed. So why even call it a 5-7 first off? All right, because I think it's bullshit.
Well, because they
right.
are automatic bids then. If you win a conference, it's an automatic bid.
Okay, but okay, so what's the fifth conference though? And that kind of goes back to what we had talked about, before. What's the new Power 5?
So I believe the fifth conference is the highest ranked conference champion outside of those 4. So like let's put this into perspective. Who's maybe the next conference that would be considered a Power 5? Sorry, Power
West.
So okay, so let's say Mountain West
Mountain
is it, right? So let's say there's a Mountain West champion, but it's a year where the Mountain West is just a mess, right? Everybody's beating everybody else. Okay. And let's say they're not ranked, or let's say they're ranked, they win the Mountain West and they are ranked 23rd. But now if there's a team in the, what is it, the AAC?
Yeah.
Let's say a team in the AAC won their conference championship, but is ranked 16th. They will get that automatic spot in the field.
Okay, so
That's my understanding.
So what if the Southern Conference is the highest ranked team?
I think they get in. Trey.
Like,
so Trey,
what?
this kind of goes back to like whoever is the highest ranked non-Power 5 team gets a New Year's Six bowl game.
So it's a 4-8. Why are they calling it a 5-7? Because whoever wins the Power 4 gets the buys.
Yeah. So there's
the 1 through 4.
Like
exactly.
There could be 5 automatic bids.
5 automatic bids. Yeah.
But the 5th is like a wild card. The 5th is kind of like
that's a weird setup.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna. I mean, it is weird, but I think it's still better than what it was.
And what if the 5th Power 5 conference team isn't ranked? No one's ranked.
Trey,
what? That's possible.
I don't think that is possible.
Like you just said, what if the Mountain West they're all 7-6, 7-5, 8-4? What if there's 3?
Then they wouldn't be the top 5, the 5th highest conference then.
Okay. Well then, what if none of the 5th ranked conference winners are ranked? That's all I'm asking. What do they do then?
I don't think that's possible.
It is. It's possible, and it's going to happen.
Trey,
years down the road.
Hold on. You're telling me that there is going to be a SEC, Big 12, Big 10, or ACC champion that is not ranked?
No, I'm saying the 5th conference.
He's saying whoever the 5th conference is. What if nobody in that conference is ranked?
Yeah.
I don't know.
The argument is that it's not going to be the 5th best conference.
Yeah.
So here, can I tell you my issue is? My issue is that it still leaves. It sounds awesome, right? But it still gives a lot of control to a very few select schools. Okay, by saying, hey, guess what? If you're in one of these 4 conferences, you get a bye because you're the best of the best. All right,
money.
I know, it's money, but I'm saying, but it also still, and to Trey, your point is, well, what's the 5th best conference? Well, let's create a committee to discuss that, right? As Mike Leach would say, RIP. But so now what you do, it's still leaving a lot of things up in the air where there's still going to be people that are pissed off. There's still going to be people that are mad, all right, as there would be. But the one thing I do want to point out, it kind of makes me laugh because I'm not a fan, but Notre Dame cannot be a top 4 team. They will never get a bye because they are not technically ever going to play in a conference championship, which is also this is coming from CBS Sports. So it says the highest seed that Notre Dame can have in the current format is the number 5 seed.
So they'll join a conference. Yeah, they'll join a conference.
That's good. Push their hand. Now, if they join the ACC, that kind of revives them.
I mean,
it gives them another big dog in there.
Aren't they? They're ACC in every other sport except for football. Am I right?
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. I wish they would still go to, what is it, 16? I'm trying to think.
They will. They eventually will.
Yeah, I
No,
think
because there's already talk of 14.
Crazy.
Like that's already the next,
it'll have to keep expanding. I mean, here's the thing: is when it comes down to it, the best playoff system that exists to date is March Madness, in my opinion. The NCAA basketball tournament, there is no postseason. Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna say there's no postseason that's better. I mean, I guess hockey's up there because hockey just kind of does it the right way. Although I don't care for the whole like wild card setup, the way things are and stuff like that. But I mean, I love the hockey playoffs. But in terms of the overall, like, hey, you could get a true champion. I feel like that's why March Madness is what it is. Like, it's just, I don't know, it's just set up perfect. And I hope they never ever touch it or change it.
I will say this is no, what I was trying to get at is though I do like how the FCS runs their playoffs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, where it's bracket centered, you're bringing in, champions, champion, and they run it, and I feel like, why are we trying to reinvent the wheel with the FBS? Like, you already got a model here. Use the model that's already created and successful.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like there's, and I think, to try it back to your point, I think it goes back to money. Well, what can we create? Let's get a bunch of these consultants over here and a bunch of these guys over here and a bunch of these guys with a whole bunch of money over here. And why don't you guys get in a room for a little bit and just discuss how you want this to look? Like, I think it's bullshit. Like, here's a model.
The NCAA.
It's
the NCAA. It's the dirtiest. Yep. It's the dirtiest business there is.
Yep.
All right. Well, hey, let's spice this up a little bit.
Marty, I'm a little fired up right now. I'm sorry.
I am. Eight teams that were pretty much, big dogs throughout the entire college football season. Same format as last week. Do they have a better chance of missing the college football playoff or making the national championship?
Oh, man. Okay.
Sound good?
With 12 teams.
12 teams.
Okay,
so let's start with the returning champion, Michigan. Better chance to make the national championship or to miss the playoff entirely?
National championship. Like you're saying the final game?
Yes, like the big one.
I say miss the playoff.
I say miss the playoff too.
Too much new stuff going on there for them to be that consistent.
They've reloaded everybody. You guys are insane.
Yeah.
Then you're not.
We'll see.
You got to replace a quarterback, Ty,
and a head coach,
and the star running back, and
a
lot of their line.
A head coach that also coached half the year.
Yeah, with the influence of Jim Harbaugh. No matter what, Jim Harbaugh will still coach that team. He just was on the sidelines.
So, Tyler, Trey and I would like to propose a beer bet that Michigan will not make the national championship with. No, I'm just kidding. That's a bad one.
I'm not. Yeah,
it's good for us, not for him.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Ready, Tyler? I'll ask your opinion on this one. Washington.
Not make the playoffs.
I agree.
That's a clean sweep. That's a pretty quick one. I picked them because they were in it last year. Here we go. Let's kind of stay in that Washington realm of things. Trey, Alabama.
Wow, that's tough. So, like, it's one of those things where it's hard to bet against Alabama when they have Nick Saban, and I feel like a lot of people are fleeing to the portal now that he's gone. So I'm going to go not make the playoff.
Okay. Wow. Out of 12 teams, could you imagine? That's a fall off for Bama.
You say not make the playoffs?
Well, Tyler, it's either make the play or miss the playoff or make the national championship. So what do you think there's a better chance of?
National championship. You have a better chance of that than not making it.
I am going to go with miss the playoff this year. until that head coach gets everything down there. I think he's gonna do well. I think he's gonna do well, and that's gonna sell a lot of the Alabama faithful. But he's got it. It's the Nick Saban NFL connection. It's like he just has that. Like he was producing NFL prospects.
Oh my God! Yeah, you look at some of those rosters that they had.
Yeah,
over the years,
scary.
like the running back rooms and stuff. It's like Jesus,
scary as hell. All right, here we go. Texas. Can I start this one?
Yeah.
Texas. I'm gonna go make the national championship.
Bingo. I agree
too.
Okay.
Is yours the starter the whole time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was this year. I think he is next year.
I think he is too.
That situation interests me so much.
I was gonna say, I think the better question is Arch Manning gonna stay there or not?
Yes.
Yeah, he already said he was.
Yes.
Well, for now, until he gets tired of it.
No, he will.
Dude, that's why I'm saying I am so interested in that situation.
He'll stay. All right. Next one. Georgia.
Make the national championship.
Same.
Clean sweep. I actually think
I think it's gonna be Texas, Georgia.
I think if Georgia would have made the playoff, I think they would have won it again this year.
But they didn't.
Yeah, because you know why? They let Saban in because they knew he was retiring.
No, that's stupid.
100%.
Conspiracy alert.
Yeah.
Conspiracy all you want. If it ain't conspiracy when it's true.
Well,
all right, let's go. Ready? Ohio State. Tyler, start us.
I will say I'm going to start by saying this is that they are the way too early number one team right now in top 25 rankings.
Yeah, I was going to say,
what holds me back is I can't help but feel like something is going to come out, like illegally out of that program. I just feel like there's something happening behind the scenes.
Everything that used to be illegal is legal now, Ty. I don't know.
Is it? Why don't you ask Tennessee about that? Because NCAA is trying to screw them over.
Yeah, it's once again just the NCAA trying to.
They're trying to screw Florida State too.
Exactly. I say make the national championship.
Yeah, I think the addition of Judkins from Ole Miss, the running back.
Mm-hmm.
I think he transferred to Ohio State. I just don't see Ohio State missing a 12-team playoff, so I'm going to go with more likely to win the national. We're playing the national championship.
And new offensive coordinator Chip Kelly.
Oh God,
true. I do think Ohio State national championship. I'm not saying they're going to win it, but I think they have a better chance.
Jeez.
They literally like they're throwing the entire bank at everyone and recruits, coaches, everything. So it's like it's crazy. So yeah, I'm gonna go national championship more likely. Let's go. Trey, can you give us an unbiased opinion here on this one? Penn State.
National championship.
I was gonna say, sorry, I'm having flashbacks to last week where Trey looked like somebody kicked his puppy when we talked about the Packers.
Well, that was just stupid.
We both were missed the playoffs. He's over there like we were the youngest team ever to make the playoffs.
No, I wasn't. I was astonished by your guys' stupidity, but
kind of had that quivering under lip thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's really dry in here, man.
He said make the national championship for Penn State.
Yep.
Biased. Missed the playoff.
Missed the playoff.
I don't know. We're killing the transfer portal. We literally, our defense might even be better next year than it was this year.
Doesn't matter. How's your offense?
And now you got Drew Aller back. I mean, I feel like a broken record, always saying, "Oh, look, we have Sean Clifford back again. He's a super senior. Oh, look, we have Christian McCaffrey back. He's experienced." So I hope Drew Aller kind of breaks this repetition, this cycle. Did I say McCaffrey? I meant Hackenberg.
I was like, he has never had Chris McCaffrey.
Sorry, yeah, no, but I think we're improving on defense, which is crazy to say, and then I think our offense is going to be it's gonna suffice. I'll say that.
Man, I go to miss the playoff. You lost Manny to Duke.
Okay.
Right, you lost your D coordinator. I think he was a better football coach than James Franklin is.
I think our defense makes coordinators look better than what they
are. You're speaking like every single Penn State pundit that's out there, which is look what we're doing in the recruiting and look what we're doing in the transfer portal. It's like it doesn't matter if you don't have somebody to get that talent ready on the field, which Franklin can't do. I'm going miss the playoff. Because you know what?
That's why the Penn State pundits say that is because that's what Franklin's good at, recruiting.
Yeah, he is. He's great at it.
So your backup quarterback's better than the starter. Your offense is better when he's the quarterback.
Can I ask
number 9 out of York?
This is completely.
Trent just hates Penn State.
This is not related to like this current day and age. What do you think Penn State would have been better and possibly won a national championship if they would have had Will Levis there?
Over Sean Clifford?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's
a good question, right? Like,
yeah.
Talent-wise, Penn State had better recruiting classes all those years. So don't say he went and played around better talent.
I'm not saying that. I don't know. That's a tough question.
Better coaching.
Yeah, but Will Levis is also playing much better defenses. Or at Penn State, I would say. Big Ten football.
Big Ten for Kentucky.
Big Ten football.
Kentucky's SEC.
It's different than the SEC. Big Ten football is different than the SEC.
I'm not disagreeing with that.
And I think the SEC or the Big Ten is more like grind, smash mouth, like 10, 13 games. Like look at it's smash mouth football. Whereas the SEC can get flashy, like and not really play that much defense.
And I don't think Will Levis is a flashy guy. So I feel like Will Levis in the Big Ten would have dominated. I think he would have picked apart defenses and said, "Oh, all right," because he's a big arm talent. The dude puts mayonnaise in his coffee.
No, that doesn't make him any cooler.
Badass dude.
That's not badass. Psychos do that, Ty.
Yeah.
And according to Trey, that's what you have to be to play against Big Ten defenses. So Will Levis would have won more games than Clifford did when he was there.
I didn't like your tone there.
Ooh.
According to Trey.
What do you mean according to Trey?
You said that. Ty.
That's how you said it.
You just said it. Yeah.
No.
All right, real quick. Last one. The newcomer to the Big Ten, Oregon.
Missed the playoff. Actually, no, I take that back. I think they're more likely to play for the national championship.
I agree.
I think that coach, and then they got Gabriel from Oklahoma.
And they got didn't they get another quarterback too?
No, they got the Oklahoma guy.
No, they have him, but they got another big transfer who's going to sit behind Gabriel for 1 year.
Oh, well, either way, and I like what that coach is building there. I think he's got the right thing going on, right kind of game plan.
Yeah, I got Oregon in the more likely to make the national championship.
Yeah.
If they were still in the Pac-12, I don't think they're going to be successful at. I think they're going to be just like USC is going to be in the Big Ten. Terrible. I don't see it. I think Oregon has barely gotten by sometimes in the Pac-12, and now you're going to play smash mouth football in the Big Ten.
There it is again.
There's that
what?
tone. There's that tone.
Yeah.
What?
You keep saying my references with like this stupid voice, like
it's not a stupid voice. It was an emphasis. No, it was an emphasis. Just like exaggeration, you know.
Yeah.
But no, it's smash mouth football in the Big Ten. I think then what you're going to have. Sorry, I can't even say it without it. No, You know what? This is going to be my risky one. I'm going to say doesn't make the playoff solely because they have moved into the Big Ten.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. It does add a completely new I guess barrier in the Big Ten is teams are going to have to adjust to the time period switch.
The time period switch, the way that you play, either are you playing spread or are you playing double tights with a fullback? Like, how are you going to, like, I'm telling you, the Pac-12 and the Big Ten are totally different in terms of leagues and how they really kind of have their offenses and defenses play.
Yeah.
And it's going to be
weird.
Oh, man, I don't know. I'm here for it, man. I'm here for it, and I'm here for it.
He's here for it. All right. last thing. Would you?
I'm here for that Smash Mouth football.
Yeah,
the deal to be in the new NCAA football game, $600 and a free copy of the game. Are you in or out?
Dude, totally
in. Yeah, me too. I actually, from being a person who got paid by EA Sports because they used my name, image, and likeness in it.
Wow.
I would take that paycheck again.
Trey, he had a big gut and just a mustache. I'm just saying.
I'm gonna hold off on my comments there because I'm gonna keep it clean.
Hey, at least you got offered money. Shit, I didn't even get offered money.
Oliver, I got paid money, man. That was weird.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I didn't even get a thing sent to me in the mail, and I actually was able to find myself too.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not like a little dig.
No, I'm saying
he obviously found my character if he memorized what my avatar looked at.
Yeah.
I made that up. I was a joke.
But
I'm saying once I remember. So once when you got that thing in the mail, I went back and played the game and looked at, and I was like, oh, there I am, second on the depth chart. On the depth chart, I was like, all right,
Trey at Holder.
Oh, wow.
Holder.
Man,
so they didn't actually use you. They put you in the wrong spot.
Placeholder.
Yep, that's cute.
Hey, big gut and a mustache. I'm allowed to take shots back.
It was a joke.
Oh, look, he's actually getting mad.
I know.
He wants Trey. He wants to play some Smash Mouth football right now.
Yeah, I know.
But anyway, that is pretty cool that they're bringing it back, and it looks like even Notre Dame is in it for the first time ever. Not that really. I'm not a Notre Dame lover, even though you guys accused me of that this football season. But yeah, it's pretty awesome. I think all Division I teams are in it.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
So that's excellent. Good to see that back. Now bring back NCAA March Madness, the video game.
Oh, yes.
Yes. And Trey, you can actually win the national championship and get that lovely tune sung to you.
Oh, yes.
Not as good as you, Trey.
Nope. I've been practicing. Don't worry.
Good sneak peek coming soon.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of that, are we ready for basketball?
Let's do it.
I'm ready.
All right. So, do you want me to give you a quick recap of the week?
Yeah, highlight some scores, some big games and outcomes, and
yeah, I got some teams to talk about too.
I'm kind of just going to recap the absolute madness because it is unreal this week. Just like every week. I think it's every week that we could do this. But UConn loses to Creighton. UConn has lost 19. Hold on. Let me pull my statistic up here. Yep. 19 straight road losses against the AP top 25. So whenever they're on the road against a ranked team, they have lost 19 straight. Their last win on the road against a ranked team was in 2014 against Memphis.
Wow.
So they dropped a great.
Was Calipari coach in Memphis then?
2014. Ooh, I don't know. No. Stat guys, get on that, please.
I get it. Yeah, I
doubt it.
UConn lost to Creighton. Illinois lost to Penn State last night. Which, by the way, did any of you guys catch that game? Like
Yeah,
Did you see how they didn't play in the Bryce Jordan Center?
It was
They-
the
yeah. What the
rec
heck
center.
was
The
rec
rec
center.
They need to change it. They need to
Yeah.
play in that rec center all the time. It had so
Yeah.
much more of like a. I'm not going to say it was anywhere near this level, but it was more like a Cameron indoor stadium type feel. Like, why are you not doing that there? Like, you're not. No offense, they are a football school. They're not a basketball school, but like, why are you not playing all your games there? Like that environment was actually neat.
I think it's because of wrestling.
They use that there.
Yeah, wrestling, and that's a
Hell,
much
I
more
think
successful
maybe
sport.
wrestling should switch. Go use the Bryce Jordan Center because they're going to attract more fans than basketball probably is. Hell, they're
Ooh.
national champions year in, year out. Anyway,
Hey,
that's not a knock.
It's not wrong.
Calipari was not coaching Memphis at that time.
Okay. Okay, so then we got Kentucky last night. Sorry to anybody that took that boost for Duke, Kentucky, and Bama to win. A last second tip in, pretty much, on a guy saving the ball out of bounds. LSU knocked off Kentucky. FAU earlier in the week dropped one to South Florida. Shout out to Fast Breaks. He's all over South Florida, I believe. That's one of his teams. And then just last night, speaking of Fast Breaks, Dayton dropped to George Mason last night. That's another upset there. So I rattled off the upsets. So
that was huge, especially because of the way that right now the A-10's kind of shaping up with stuff. Richmond had a big win last night, and are they tied with Dayton right now?
Actually, there's two teams at the top. It's Richmond and Loyola Chicago.
Yep.
That's right. Loyola Chicago. I forgot about that. That's with Sister Jean, right?
Yeah. Is she still alive?
Yes, she is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
It's like 105.
Wow.
What? Yeah. I think she's 100. I think she's 100. She's over 100. I know she's over 104.
Oh, my God.
She might be 105.
Does she even know what's going on?
Oh, Trey, don't be rude.
Sharpest woman ever.
Okay, I was asking.
Yeah. Jeez.
She's 104. Well, I'm serious.
It's old, but yes, she is. She's with it.
I'd like to have a conversation with her and see for myself.
Oh, okay, Mister.
You're
really invested in Sister Jean right now.
I can't believe she's still kicking.
But how about you got kicking? Jeez, Trey.
Well, I feel like I was in like middle school when she was famous.
You probably looked like you were in middle school.
Yeah, okay.
Little boy.
Anyway, I think that is one of the tournaments, the conference tournaments that I'm looking most forward to is the A-10. I know I kind of gave them credit earlier, a couple episodes back, saying like that's a enjoyable conference, super competitive.
Yeah,
I mean, we were all in the Bonnies last night, and the Bonnies let us down. They got absolutely wrecked by a very underachieving LaSalle team. But just for something like that to happen, I can't wait to see, because another team in that mix there is Duquesne. Duquesne's not bad, but you got Duquesne, you got St. Bonaventure, you got Loyola, you got St. Joe's, you got Dayton, and you got Richmond and UMass. Yeah, UMass can put some good games together.
UMass has been doing
and VCU.
Yeah, VCU.
They're hot right now too. I think they lost last night, but they've been hot. They lost to UMass last night, actually.
Yeah, they did.
So yeah,
I'll be honest,
that's an interesting conference.
And watching that Rhode Island team against Richmond last night, Rhode Island didn't play bad. They got some players there too, so they could even be some disruption there in their tournament.
No, I'm not sold on them.
No, but I'm saying like top to bottom, so you got Loyola 11-2, you got Richmond 11-2, you got Dayton 11-3, VCU 9-4. Then it's UMass 8-6, George Mason 7-6. Then you got 7-7, 7-7, 6-7, 5-8, 5. Like, I mean, the middle of the pack is very, very close.
Right.
Like once you get beyond Dayton, it's like knotted.
Well, they got 6 teams with single-digit losses, like in their overall records, which is tough to do in any conference, let alone a smaller conference like that too. Probably a lot of these teams, they play like bigger name schools in the non-conference games because, I mean, they got to get their schedule toughened up and stuff, and they perform. They're fun to watch. I agree, Trent. That actually will be one of the more entertaining tournaments to keep an eye on.
Yeah, for sure. Especially from a new possible Power 5 conference. Just kidding.
Well, hey, I know you guys have been probably keeping an eye on it, but this Duke UNC game coming up might carry a lot of weight.
Oh, I'm not looking that far ahead, Trey.
Yeah.
It'll determine probably who's going to be the 1 seed.
Or
you mean
season champ?
You mean for the conference tournament?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to determine the regular season.
Who's going to be the one in the ACC tournament?
Okay, because I was going to say there's no way they have, my buddy, dummy. I don't like him. I'm sorry, Joe Lenardi. I don't like Joe Lenardi. And you know what? What's funny is every ACC coach is coming out against him right now. Okay, coming out against him. Wake Forest coach just put him on blast in an interview. I loved it. Jim Boeheim, who calls games now for ESPN, he hates him. Right? Like there's no respect. I sound like Rodney Dangerfield or something.
Yeah, no respect.
No respect. But seriously, it's just you put. I don't really know what to tell you. I mean, Duke's going to have their hands full this weekend, I think, in the road against Wake Forest. Matter of fact, it's the first Wake Forest game to be sold out since 2017. Because when Duke comes to town,
undefeated at home this year too.
Yeah, so Duke's going to have their hands full. So do I think? Don't even put that thing. Get that name off my screen. But anyway, I think Carolina. Yeah. Carolina or Duke, they're going to drop one more game before they get to each other. It happened. They're both really, really, I would say right now Duke technically is a little bit hotter since dropping the game to them.
5 in a row.
Yeah. And I mean, even in their last however many games, I mean, they've lost 2 in like their last 15 or 16 games. So it is what it is, but I trade that game no matter what the situation is. It's always the best, and it's a crazy way to end the season because it's
might carry some more weight.
No, for sure. I hope they are both top 5 at that point. That'd be pretty cool.
I don't know about
and then
that.
they just dominate in the tournament like they always do.
Can we real quick talk about some of the Big East stuff, because obviously the big game was Connecticut dropping one to Creighton. And by the way, all right, not a huge Hurley fan, all right, but
yeah,
all right, I know there was some controversial things with what he said to fans and stuff, but if you actually went back and saw the whole tape, he said, "If we see you in the tournament." So
they were trying to make him out to be a villain, which he is kind of a villain to some, but
right. But I will say this from a coaching standpoint. I mean, I know from I guess we'll call it X standpoint. Lane Kiffin's pretty good at posting on there. All right, in college football, he's got some good gifs or gifs, some memes and stuff like that. But did you see Hurley's video that he posted?
I did not.
Oh, dude, go on to his X account.
Explain this whole situation.
So
go ahead.
You got it, or you want me to?
No, go ahead.
So when he was leaving the court after the Creighton loss, now Garen, I was a little shocked Creighton being a ranked team rushed the court. I
hate rushing the court, man.
Drives me nuts. Oh yeah, because it happens to our teams, but
I hate
it. It just, I was kind of like, okay, I get it. You beat the number 1 team. I guess that could be deserving. But as he's leaving the court, Trey, there's a fan talking smack to him. And he kind of looks at him, and what X initially was posting all around was you could see him mouth the words. And of course, that's the only part they played was, I will knock you out. Like you can clear as day see knock you out. But when you roll it all the way back and watch the full thing, he says, if we play you in the tournament, we will knock you out. So it was like, I like it. Like, don't get me wrong. Sometimes it's better to not even give trolls like that the time of day. But with some of the things that these guys get probably said to them, especially you're emotional, you're fired up, you just got knocked off, and they're
He's a fiery guy.
Oh, for sure. I don't mind it. I thought it was funny. I think it's, what the hell? If you're gonna say something to him, be prepared to get something said back. Yeah, like it. Yeah.
So,
and I'm sure the fan didn't even make a big deal about it. It's just the social media world.
I think it was the Creighton Barstool account that actually posted it.
Yeah.
So one thing I do want to point out though, in the Big East stuff, like, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm just not reading the right media stuff, but like Marquette's kind of under the radar. Am I right by saying that? I mean, nobody talks about them. They're ranked, I believe, 6th right now.
They were 4th until they got absolutely murdered by UConn.
Yeah. 7th. I'm sorry, they're ranked 7th right now. But I don't know. I feel like that's kind of an under the radar team that's kind of flying there.
Well, Tyler, it's not fair. They play 6-on-5 whenever they're on defense at their end.
Yeah, right.
With Shaka Smart being on the court, but
I mean,
the fact they are good. They started the year off strong.
Yeah, the fact that Villanova is 6th in the Big East right now. I mean, at 15-11. I mean, it's not the Villanova of the past, but I mean, you got Seton Hall sitting there at 17-9. You got Providence at 18-9. And then it's Villanova, Xavier, who might be looking for a coach. Just saying.
They are, aren't they?
Not official yet, but some birdies are talking. Yeah, I don't know. Big East is interesting, but I mean, it's honestly though, Connecticut looks dominant as hell though most of the time. I mean, last night against Creighton, or the other night against Creighton seemed kind of fluky. I do believe, I think Trent, you had mentioned too. I mean, the line of it was like, oh, okay, kind of a gimme. Like, of course they're gonna win, and then to get beat the way that they did, they kept trying to come back. But Creighton just shooting the lights out. It's like, how the hell are you gonna shoot the lights out?
I mean, it was a trappy line, absolutely. Yeah. But like, if you can get, like, even though we took it, right, it's not a bad bet. No. It's not a bad bet. If you can get UConn money line on the road for 125, 130, like you're almost,
it's value.
I mean, unless you're like literally we even said this is so. And there are those lines out there that are like, what the hell is going on with this line?
It's Virginia Tech line the other day.
Yeah. Oh so, gosh. I mean, but it's so tough. Is it not too tough to sit there and actually buy on the side that you think like is fishy? Like, I don't know. I struggle to do it.
It's almost like you want to fade yourself where you're like, oh, this is obvious. But
what's crazy is you guys are right. I think to that all the time when I see these lines. Like, oh, well, you can't not take this no matter how fishy it is. Like 7.5 points on a team that's like playing an unranked team, like that doesn't make any sense. And then I promise you guys, I would say 7 out of 10 times I think that it always is the line. Like I always lose.
It happens, right?
It's like
the obvious happens.
Right. No, not the obvious. Yeah. Like the fishiness happens. Like the fishy line plays true. And I sit there and I'm like, I'm not smarter. As much as I try to be, as much as we all try to be, we're not smarter than the books. You know what I mean? So, like, they're doing it for a reason, and they know. And it's frustrating because it's like, I don't know. It just doesn't make sense.
No.
Yeah. I want to, before we move on to some other headlines or whatnot, the Rick Pitino story that came out, I think is absolutely golden. Like, I think that's hilarious for those that haven't seen it. One of his former players from Iona, he's now playing for West Virginia. And they're talking about, they asked him a question because they knew he played for Pitino at Iona at a post-game presser. And Pitino's recent comments was coaching his current team is the most miserable thing he's ever done in his career. Right.
So double down on that.
Yeah, double down on it. And so, everyone's all up in arms about saying, "Wow, you're totally throwing your team under the bus." But I mean, I'm going to give the guy a little credit. Maybe he shouldn't have gone to the media with it, but I think it's hey, I'm going to call your butts out and let's see you respond. Are you going to fold or are you going to respond in a good way? But this guy who used to play for Mid-Iona sits there and he's, he said some things to me, when we were at Iona, and the reporter's like, "Go ahead, like, could you give us an example?" And he's like, kid was super tentative to do it. And I will say this, he did preface it with saying, listen, what he said was, just out of tough love, didn't mean it. It was just kind of, and I think the kid even described it as saying, like, I actually was laughing as he said it to me. And he's like, are you laughing at me? But he told this kid that he would cut him up into 7 pieces and mail all the pieces to wherever he was from, Detroit, Chicago, wherever that he was from. So it just, when you hear Rick Pitino talk with that, I don't know, is that a New York? Is that a New York like accent?
You got that heavy accent, yeah.
Oh man, he sits there and tells somebody, a college kid, that I'll cut you up into 7 pieces and mail you home. Like that to me is like, that's comical. That's on the lines of, like, Bob Knight old back in the day comments to the median reporters. So I thought that was enjoyable. I know some people out there are going to be like, I can't believe he's saying that too. But have a sense of humor, and you know what, the guy has good relationships with his players. That's why he can say some of those things he does.
Right.
He wins, man.
Yeah, he'll have that team. He'll have that team in the tournament. Maybe not this year. No, but he'll have that team back. St. John's will be back in the tournament by next year. But all right. So how about the top 16? Ty, you got that image for us?
Yeah.
So as he's pulling this up for us, NCAA for basketball does a similar thing. The committee that places, sets up the bracket, releases, their rankings now at this point in the year as we approach. I think it's only, guys, I think like teams only have like 5-6 games left in the regular season. They release their top 16 seeds, and then what they do is they pretty much seed them 1 through 4 for the 4 regions. So do we want to start with one of the regions that we have there, and I don't know, reaction, maybe overreaction, something that's going to change? Obviously a lot has changed this week with some upsets, but
right. So like you said, Trent, there's 4 regions, so they take the 16, divide them up to 4 to each region. Midwest is Purdue, which is the 1 seed, Tennessee, which is the 6 seed, but they're a 2. So we're going 1 through 4 here in the Midwest. Purdue the 1, Tennessee the 6, Baylor the 10, and then San Diego State is 14.
Interesting. I know Purdue's going to get a 1 seed. I know they are, but I'm telling you, they don't make it past the second round.
I mean, that is the easiest projected conference, I think, if those are your 4 seeds.
Yeah.
But I'll be honest with you, like Tennessee, Tennessee's a team too. I don't know if they make it out of the first weekend.
Yeah, I don't. It's Rick Barnes. Rick Barnes doesn't like to go out of the first weekend. He's got things to do. I would say out of those 4, I think Baylor. But I'm also seeing, how they also
to come out of that conference or that
region? because I agree with Tyler. I think Purdue loses. I think Tennessee loses. And I think Baylor is going to have an easier path. I think they're going to take care of business. I don't agree that Baylor is quote unquote ranked higher than some other teams there. But yeah, I would take Baylor out of those 4.
I would take Tennessee.
And you'll be disappointed.
You take Tennessee. Yeah, you take them, man. We should do a snake draft too with some people.
Oh yeah, I'd like that.
All right, let's go East region. Ty, you want to read those off for us?
Yeah, we got UConn as the number 1 at 2. Number 2 is UNC. Number 3 is Iowa State, and number 4 is Wisconsin.
I'll give my first take out of this. Wisconsin will not be a 4 seed. They'll be. I think they're going to be on the 5 or 6 line.
Yeah.
think Iowa State should be a 2 seed, to be honest with you.
Whoa.
I think they're just playing. They're playing well, and don't get me wrong. At home, they look unstoppable. But
dude, I really like their coach, man.
Who did they play the other night? It was Houston, right? Where they got beat by like 12 points or something. I don't know what it was, but
no, they did. They lost by 6, but it's fine.
Okay, well, I just don't think they're solid enough all around and consistent enough to take on a team like Houston or UConn or even like Duke or Kansas. Like, I don't think. I think they're talented.
Iowa State, you're saying?
Iowa State, yeah. I think they're hot right now and they play well at home, but the tournament's a different beast. Like, if you don't have a coach that's never been there or you got any experience or anything like that, and you're a young team, I think they can really struggle. And I'm not sure if Iowa's young or if they have experience or not, but
they do. They were in Sweet 16 last year, I think, at least.
All right, and that definitely helps, but I don't know. I just don't see them in the same caliber as those like top 10 teams. You know what I mean?
If you put them at a 3 seed, they're a dangerous 3. That's a dangerous 3 seed.
Yeah.
I think they're lowballed at 3.
I think they'll be a 4 seed.
So let's save this whole all over, all the 3s, all the 2s. Maybe we could talk about those. I can't wait if that would be a region right there. I couldn't wait for that UConn UNC rematch in the Elite 8 round 2. Because they've played this year. UConn did not dominate them. So it was a Madison. It was a Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. UNC didn't look. There wasn't a point where I was like, "Oh, UNC is going to win this game." Like the whole time, I felt like UConn kind of controlled the pace. They controlled everything about that game.
They did. So, but I still don't think they killed them.
No, they didn't kill him. I mean, the score wasn't a blowout, but I don't know.
Yeah. All right, West region, which I feel like Duke always gets put in the West. I really do. They do. They always do. Arizona, Kansas, Duke is at 3, and Auburn is the 4. So Arizona's the 1. Sorry, Kansas is the 2.
Oh, man. Well, I think Duke as a 3 seed is scary. You're talking about scary 3 seeds.
I think Kansas as a 2 seed is overrated.
Just to let you know, Trey, Joe Lenardi last night just bumped Duke down to a 4 seed.
Did he really?
After beating Miami at Miami by 29 points. But what do we know, dummy?
Hold on. They're ranked in the top 10.
They're 8.
They're 8.
So, dude, that guy knows nothing, man. Let's be honest.
Yeah, he's a jackass.
I think he needs to lose his job.
Agree. I'll take it.
No, if I'm looking there, I would say out of that region, it's tough. I have Kansas and Duke in my Final 4 each, but the way Kansas is playing as of late, they don't look as threatening as I thought they would look down the stretch here. So I would go Duke out of that West region, if I'm being honest.
Okay.
Say Duke and Arizona.
Yeah, I'd like to see that rematch too.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say Auburn. That's another team I can't figure out. It's like they look so good one day and they look so bad the next. It's like, what's your identity? I have no clue, man. So, as a 4 seed, I think they could knock some teams around. I'd probably put them in the Sweet 16. But
how you described Auburn right there is how I would describe almost every SEC team.
Yeah, so you're not wrong.
I think there's some conferences I think cream of the crop top in the Big 12, the very top of the ACC, and I'd even say Purdue. Don't get me wrong, they're going to lose some games, but they don't. There's not as much fluctuation. Do you know what I mean? Tennessee looks incredible. Looks like could be the number 1 team, and then they get killed by Texas A&M, and it's
or
like
or Vanderbilt.
yeah. So it's like that's where I feel like the SEC in basketball has been very consistent at being inconsistent, right? So I don't know. That's my take on them. The matchup. You guys want to know? It's not even a team matchup. It is a personnel matchup that I would love to see, which is Kyle Filipowski versus what's his name for Kansas? His name just slipped my head.
Hunter Dickinson.
Hunter Dickinson. I would love to
big
see
matchup.
those two big 7-footers go at it. And I would be anxious to see, because if Filipowski is a top 10 on the draft board that released this week, which just so blows my mind, I want to see if he could take it to him then.
Yeah, that'd be good.
That's a grown man who has another year of eligibility left too, by the way, guys.
Yeah.
Who?
Hunter Dickinson.
What? He's got another year?
Yes, he's got a year of eligibility left.
How?
Like Trent said that in text the other day.
He's a graduate transfer. When you're a graduate transfer, you get 2 years.
That's ridiculous.
So, and why not? NIL. He's going to make better money playing at Kansas.
Does he stay at Kansas?
Yes. And there is a potential that the G League might go under here after this season to save money, because hold on. It's not because it's doing bad, which it is, but nobody really follows it. But it's actually because they created the G League as like a way for guys that still needed development and make money. But now with NIL, Adam Silver is saying it's no longer really needed.
Right.
Because guys can make actually more money playing in college.
And develop still.
Yeah. So I love it. That's why I like NIL for college basketball. But anyway.
And I will say this too. This is kind of you just brought up a guy's name. I think Adam Silver's a horrible commissioner. I think he's actually driven fanship away from the NBA.
Statistically, he's not. He's actually gotten a lot more.
Yeah, worse than baseball.
Yeah, I think baseball's improved a little bit. I know. I hated on this
pitch clock.
Totally different story. I hated on the pitch clock, but I think it actually improved the game a little bit.
I hated on the pitch clock too.
Only thing that I love the pitch clock.
No, I like it now, but I was a huge anti-pitch clock guy before it got implemented.
So was I.
The only thing that I need is the old, challenge a call, tap the helmet, turn, look. They have the technology to see if it crossed the plate or not and where. They need it. They use it in the minors.
Gosh.
Are you talking about the bat, like a swing?
Dude.
No, not the swing. I'm talking about a ball that's either on the plate, off the plate, high or low. They have that tech because you know what? The number one guy called out on strike 3 on a pitch that was outside of the strike zone was Adley Rutschman.
Yeah.
So we need it for the Orioles. Extend his bats, get his on-base percentage higher. Once again, we are not an Orioles podcast, but we are an Orioles podcast.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's the unofficial official Orioles podcast.
There we go. Let's go. Last region. Trey, read them off for us.
All right. So 1 seed Houston. Number 2 is Marquette. 3 seed Alabama. 4 Illinois. And right off the bat, I would say this is the toughest region. I think Houston, Marquette, Alabama right there is that's scary, I think.
No?
Which one's tougher?
I think the West is the toughest.
Yeah,
I mean, it's that to me. It was between the West and the South, but I think Houston, Marquette, Bama. That's a tough.
Tyler, what holds the East out is Wisconsin. Wisconsin shouldn't be in there anymore.
Agreed. And Ohio State's kind of a wild card.
Iowa.
Iowa State.
Yeah, I don't see anybody in here beating Houston. That's a Houston Final Four waiting to happen.
I like T-Rex arms.
Little skinny arms, you mean?
Yeah.
Samson.
Yep.
Trey, hold your comments. I think Marquette with Shaka Smart, once again, you got to put him up there. I know he had his VCU run, but I'm telling you, he's been upset how many times in the first and second round. I mean, he's been upset so many times.
I know,
he decided
all the time.
But Trent,
he decided to start playing. I'll pull that back up.
Sorry.
What's up, Trey?
You did say you thought this would be his year, though, earlier. I think in a podcast or two ago. You said you think this is the year he breaks those woes.
I did.
Shaka Smart. Yeah,
you're right.
Did.
I think I have him in my Final Four.
Oh.
Okay. I take it back. I really hope they don't get put in a bracket with Houston because I think Houston is one of the top teams that absolutely will make it.
Huh.
I just really do. All right, ready?
I don't.
I
put them in the same category as Purdue and Tennessee.
Okay. Real quick round robin. Let's start at the 4 seeds and work our way down. Best 4 seed out of this is San Diego State, Auburn, Wisconsin, or Illinois?
Auburn.
Oh, man. I'm torn here. I'm going to go Illinois. Okay. Best 3 seed. Baylor, Duke, Bama, Iowa State.
Duke.
I'll take Duke. Duke has beaten Baylor without their starting point guard. Let's go 2 seeds. Tennessee, Carolina, Marquette, Kansas.
I'd say Marquette.
Tyler?
I mean, my heart says UNC, but it's hard to bet against Kansas.
I would go Carolina. They got 2 of the best players in college basketball, even though the one I hate. I hate Baycott. I don't hate RJ Davis.
Yeah.
But, let's go 1 seeds. Purdue, UConn, Arizona, Houston. You guys know mine.
I say UConn.
Mine's Houston.
I say UConn too.
I say UConn.
You say Houston, Trent?
I'm on Skinny Arm Sampson's crew, man.
I have one question. I know my answer for this question already, but what's one team that you're surprised isn't listed?
Out of the graphic top 6 here. On top 16?
Yep, in the whole graphic. What's one team that you're surprised isn't up there?
Almost like have to like look at the top 25 right now, Trey.
I know my answer if you guys want to hear it.
Creighton.
Yep, bingo.
I think they've jumped up quite a bit.
I think now they have, especially with the win over UConn. But
yeah,
I mean, even before the win over UConn, I would have put them in there over teams like San Diego State. That would put them in over Wisconsin.
Real quick question: is San Diego State are they returning everybody?
They have a lot back.
I don't care. I really don't care.
But I'm saying like that's kind of the same team as last year then.
Yeah.
That went to the Final Four.
Okay, so here's the thing: is what I like about college basketball is you can make a run in that tournament just by getting hot at the right time.
Oh, totally.
And I think that San Diego State's a prime example of that. Even Florida Atlantic last year, I think, was a prime example of that. Those teams started to click at the perfect time, and they got good matchups. They had March Madness is so variable. Like it all depends on your draw. If teams in your region lose and like get upset and stuff like that. So
yeah,
I mean it's a crapshoot really, and you don't know until it all kind of plays out. But I don't know. I think they're a good team. They're solid, San Diego State, but they don't stand out to me as like a team that has a chance.
Yeah. Trey, I think your best point is why it's so hard to bet futures
right
for college basketball is you got to know the draw.
Yeah.
Because you could end up like I think a lot of the teams that played against the Florida Atlantic, which was I know they have Golden there, their big post guy, but they were essentially like 4 fast guards that could shoot the ball, right?
Yeah.
So if you're a team that, prefers to, slow it down, pound the rock down inside, you're going to have trouble matching up with them at least defensively. And their whole idea was, hey, we're going to make more threes than you make twos,
Right.
So, and that really carried them. You're right.
And
that is so important.
One of the things, this is a little off topic, but you just got me kind of thinking about like schemes and type of teams and how they play and stuff. Is we said it last year a lot too, but guard play in March Madness is a huge thing. If you have solid, experienced guards, you have an upper hand rather than a team that has a dominant big man, in my eyes.
Yeah, I'll give you that. All right. I like that. That was fun. I can't wait to see how they release it, or what they release this week, how much it's changed, if it has changed.
Dude, hey, and we're so close to championship weekend. Weeks.
Yeah, it's plural.
Yeah.
I like it when the small conferences are out. That's where we really like to cap our games here. Hey, upcoming games this weekend. We did do a board this past weekend. I know my results were 6-4, nothing spectacular.
So is mine.
Yeah, Tyler, I think you were like 5-5.
I think that are 4-6.
Yeah, I was trying to give you a little credit there for 5-5, but
appreciate that.
You're welcome. But anyway, we did go 3-0 on Saturday, so that's okay too. Upcoming games that I have on my radar, big games. These are the big games. Duke versus Wake Forest. Like you said, Trey, Wake Forest undefeated at home. It's a sellout. Wake Forest they should be in. They're top 20 for NET net rankings and for KenPom. UNC versus Virginia at Virginia, I believe it is. Although I'm like begging for this line because I think they're going to cap it so wrong. I think they're going to have Virginia too close, and Carolina is going to beat them by about 30. Houston at Baylor. That's number 2 versus number 11. That's a noon game. I would be interested to see because like ranked teams on the road, higher ranked teams on the road have not been faring too well. Kansas versus Texas. I hope they have a mercy rule in college basketball because I think Texas, after watching them play the other night, that is them versus Kansas State. They are horrible.
Hey, Trent.
Yeah. Sorry, fast breaks. They just look bad. I know they got the win. Trey, that is offensive to Texas Nation. That is a horn.
I'm horns down right now.
Whoa. All right. Last game that I highly ranked matchup is Bama versus Kentucky. So once again, inconsistency, right? Kentucky beats Auburn, lose to LSU. Could they beat the top team in the conference this weekend and just show you how inconsistent? Lenardi will say competitive. I say inconsistent.
John, you were saying you can't wait to see the next list of top 16. There might not be an ACC team in it if it's up to Joey.
Yeah, screw Joey. It's not Joey's 16. Joey's 16 sucks.
Yeah.
Real quick. All right, upset game on Saturday.
Ooh, let's hear it.
Give me one upset.
Ooh, out of those games.
I got upset right now. Iowa over Illinois. 2:15 game.
Iowa over Illinois.
Yep. Iowa beats Illinois.
Wow.
What's yours, Trent?
Well, can you Tyler's kind of putting us on the spot here. If I would have been able
I'm sorry. I know.
Look at some matchups here. I mean, there's so many games. There's 150 some games that day.
I know. I'm just looking at top 25 right now.
Yeah, I'll say Georgia over Auburn.
I would look at that one too.
I'm gonna go Washington over Arizona.
Ooh, that's a hefty upset, Trey.
Oh yeah,
that is like hefty.
Yep.
All right.
Sorry, that was a shout out to our sponsor for trash bags. No, I'm just kidding.
No, we don't have sponsors yet. We just have shout outs.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else, boys?
I think we covered it all. Like you say, I'm excited for championship week to start, or weeks, I guess, to start.
Yeah.
That's when it starts to like really feel like the madness is beginning. So
Whew.
just a couple days.
And I'll just say this: we may have to live stream
Oh, we will.
on the 22nd,
Yep.
Friday, March 22nd.
Hopefully we can have like a 15-second delay in case
Mainly for you, Trey.
Mostly for
Yeah.
just Trey. Yeah, just Trey.
That's true.
He needs delays. Yeah. Now we'll look at working that, but video podcasting is coming very soon. We're going to do a March Madness episode in the next couple of weeks here, actually leading into March Madness.
Yeah.
So I guess that would actually probably be the 21st. Is when we would record. We'd release it on the 22nd then. So it's kind of the plan. Unless we're going to talk about that. We might do an episode Thursday morning. That way it goes into March Madness. So,
well, don't forget too our bracketology episode before the March Madness tournament. We will predict every conference tournament winner.
Yeah, we
got to do
conference winners. We got
to do our seeding too. Remember,
tournament winners.
That's the one leading into March, I think.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
West Virginia, 16 seed.
Yeah,
lock it in.
Lock it in. Well,
all right, fellas.
Enjoy your weekend, everybody. Thank you guys for listening. Appreciate you, Trent. Appreciate you, Trey.
Yeah, take it easy, fellas. Good talking to you.
Yep.
All right, have a good weekend.